Arsenal win back possession, and it's broken nicely to Cazorla, 30 metres from goal, plays it to the edge of the area. Alexis Sanchez goes for goal and scores. That's a brilliant goal from Alexis Sanchez. He's been Arsenal's star man this season, and maybe now they're going to get the right.
Welcome to Gooners in the USA podcast, the special edition. Mike, what's so special about today?
Oh, everything. I mean, we are podcasting today with one of our heroes, our new heroes. As our listeners have learned about us, we're just a couple of gits from the USA, hence the name of the podcast. One of us is a recreational goalie. That would be Andy. And the other one of us, which is me, loves himself some beer and some burgers. So for that reason, we both can kind of we've recently fallen in love with our new favorite footballer of all time, the one and only self-described roly-poly goalie. Do I have that right? The honorable Mr. Wayne Shaw, the goaltender for the mighty Sutton Utd football club. Welcome to our podcast, Wayne.
Hi, Mike. Hi, Andy.
Hi, mate.
Happy to have you. And you know, the obvious first question has to be: has life changed, and how has it changed for you and your teammates in the last 5 or 6 days since the victory against Leeds and then the subsequent draw of Arsenal in the next round? I mean, are there people coming out of the woodwork like us, or what's the week been like for you?
Yeah, well, we said it before. It was like, it was superb to be where we were against Leeds, and all the press and the coverage from that, TV cameras and everything was great. And then to go one further and obviously draw the Gooners, it's been fantastic. And to be fair, the circus is coming to town again, so looking forward to it.
So,
it sure is.
Speaking of the circus, Wayne, Paul Barton from London, at Man of Bronze 1, wants to know how you're handling all the female attention now that this fame has landed on your doorstep.
Yeah, I did see that. I see that through Twitter. To be fair, no women involved. Not for me, obviously. Married man. Wife stood next to me.
So that's what all the female attention
is. I've got to say that.
Absolutely, yeah. We didn't warn you about these questions, but well, I'm sure that that she has people who would gladly take her place at this point, since you've acquired the level of notoriety that you have. Are you from South London originally, or have you moved there from someplace else?
Yeah, no, I actually commute. I live in Southampton, and I stay at the ground in the media room Monday to Thursday. So I stay up there and obviously look after the 3G facility that we've got. Do a bit of community work. Also, any odd jobs, shifts in the bar, bit of everything really, mate. It's fully hands-on. Absolutely. And obviously the goalkeeping coaching.
Fantastic. And when you were younger, when you were growing up, did you have a first division or second division team that you were that you grew up supporting?
I was obviously a schoolboy at Southampton, and then I'd done my apprenticeship at Reading, so they're the two sides that I used to follow, really. Just more so Southampton, but each club I've been to, they always play a part of your heart, so...
Absolutely, and we've obviously struggled recently as Gooners with Southampton. They tend to be our bogey team, with the exception of last weekend. But it's a great club with a long tradition. And when I lived there in the 1980s, I lived in London for a couple of years, which is how I got into the Arsenal. Southampton was a top division, a first division team at that point, and it always surprised me how long it took them to get back. But great team. And any specific goalkeeper heroes when you were younger?
Peter Schmeichel for me. I was an outfield player previously, obviously up until I was 18, and then I went in goal. It was a goalkeeping dilemma we had. One of the sides I played for, we won 1-0 away, and then I stuck there ever since about 1989. So
that was the time when I was over there, 1989.
Was it
golden age? We didn't have to worry about European. We didn't have to worry about European football at that point. So Wayne, I think we got another question.
Yeah, one of our regular listeners, Bobby Chakraborty, wants to know how you originally got into football. And I think you kind of answered it a little bit, but did you play any other sports as a kid, or was it just 100% in the training system at Southampton?
Yeah, it's mainly football. Obviously, from the age of 14, I joined Southampton, and we used to train 3 times a week as a schoolboy. So we didn't really have much time for anything else. And by the time you played for the county or we used to have a side called Southampton Schoolboys, which was a district side. So there wasn't really much time to do much else. I threw my hand at rugby. I used to like to have a game of golf on a social when I could. But yeah, mainly football all the way through.
Great,
excellent, and as you've mentioned, it's interesting in non-league football. Obviously, there's some other things you've got to do besides the football to keep the bills paid and all of that. And so you said you are doing part-time bartending in pubs around the ground, or I mean, what do you do kind of when you're not training and playing for Sutton?
No, I actually work full time for the football club. So I work I do a bit in the community. I'm the ambassador for our disability side. We do walk-in football for over 50s, which I'm nearly there, which is quite good. Nice. I'm looking forward to that. And like I say, we've got a 3G facility that we have 200 people through the door every day using our pitch. From the community right down for girls football, ladies football, the junior section. We have Sutton Common Rovers, which are a joint side that use the stadium and the facilities, so they train there as well. So every 10 hours use, I've got to brush the 3G surface. It takes about an hour and a half, so I do that as well. And then just obviously a face to the name and be jovial around the place, really. That's what I do.
Well, that must be an easy job for you then. The last part. So, and by the way, we almost forgot to ask this, but the video making its rounds around the internet of you saving a penalty, was that yesterday?
That was yesterday. Yeah, yesterday morning. That was. Yeah, we had a few players that hadn't had many games, needed a bit of fitness, and obviously. We've only got like the one goalkeeper and the other, obviously myself. So he needed a breather. So I donned the gloves yesterday, and I managed to save a penalty, which helped the publicity even more.
Well, absolutely, and the way that Arsenal takes penalties, I think we're actually shaking in our boots for real right now, because the last thing we need is a keeper playing against us who can save penalties. Because
seriously,
but you looked very nimble in that video.
So
I don't feel it today.
So when the draw happened, did you and the lads have a preference on a smaller team like Lincoln, Oxford, or maybe Tottenham, or were you excited that you got a home round draw against Arsenal?
We were looking at, we thought, because when the ties are due to be played is on I think between the 18th and the 17th and the 20th. That weekend we were due to play Lincoln at home anyway, in the league. So we were looking in hindsight and thinking, well, I hope this is not an omen, and we obviously played them. But then it would have guaranteed one club in the quarter-finals draw for the FA Cup. But with the game being on the Monday now, it's 8 o'clock kickoff. We're actually we will be in the live FA Cup quarter-final draw, because whoever will be against obviously Arsenal or Sutton United. So.
Oh, are they doing the draw on the Sunday before that game? And
they do it on the Monday evening.
Okay.
So throughout the obviously through where we'll be warming up, so we know obviously who the next opponents are. Obviously the same as Arsenal.
That's an amazing dynamic, though, to walk onto the field for kickoff, knowing that not only that you have an opportunity to play against an Arsenal, but knowing who you'll have the opportunity to play against if you beat Arsenal.
Were you pretty elated when you saw the draw come through?
Yeah, what happened was, obviously, all the previous rounds, I've been doing a draw with Shaw. Obviously, my name's Shaw, so the draw with Shaw, and a couple of times we've had like live people there doing the draw from our clubhouse. And what I used to do is get a little bit of memorabilia, so say a couple of signed shirts and a football from the last game. Used to raffle it off, and obviously our chosen charities were the beneficiaries of that. And it just brought everyone together in the clubhouse, so we had 200-300 people each time. And obviously, a few beers were sunk and everything else. It's been fantastic, really. And I don't think I'll be doing a draw with Shaw in the next round, but because I definitely won't have time to do the warm up and obviously try and sell a few tickets to the guys in the bar.
Yeah, there's a little too much multitasking there, but given that your name is Shaw, by the way, we have a lot of people who are just wondering if it's difficult for you to watch how poorly Jose Mourinho is treating your son up at Manchester United. I mean, you can't get in.
Lukey Boy's a Southampton boy as well. Obviously, he come from Southampton, right. And he had a bad injury. He was playing very, very well. Obviously, he was England left back at the time as well. And obviously, namesake and everything. There must be a family member somewhere that's something's going on. But seriously, he's
And I apologize for the son comment, but I was going to say brother, and then maybe.
Brother from a different mother is probably
exactly. So now that you have drawn Arsenal, I mean, from that point, do you start doing some basic scouting? Specifically, did you have the opportunity to watch our amazing match against Watford on Tuesday?
No, not really. To be honest, so many quality players at Arsenal. You could probably field 4 teams. It's one of them for us where. Most important, and obviously we need to stay in the Vanarama, which you got wrong last time, saying about Vanarama National League. That's how you pronounce that.
It's not the Wilder Valderrama or the Victor Wanyama National League.
You keep bringing back all these Southampton players.
I know. Well, that's because 90% of the players in the Premier League started at Southampton. It's a proven fact.
Yeah, is that right? Wow.
So you didn't see the match on Tuesday?
No, I didn't see it. No, to be honest, I think all the lads were still celebrating from the Sunday as well. So, obviously we had a little get together yesterday. The lads that didn't play had a running session.
Well, let me just tell you, from someone who did watch the match on Tuesday, had you watched that match at some point in the first half, you would have started thinking, holy shit, I better start packing my bags for Manchester in the quarterfinals, because if you need an avenue on how you guys should play us, look at what Watford did to us. That was pathetic.
Wayne, is there still a real buzz around the ground in the training pitch, or are you guys kind of just settled down now and getting ready for the next match?
Yeah, I think obviously our focus now will be on Saturday.
Boreham Wood, right?
Boreham Wood, yeah. That's who we got in there. We got the FA Trophy, which is a FA competition, one down from the FA Cup for the non-league sides. At a certain level, up to the Conference National, it's called the FA Trophy. And again, there's a trip to Wembley for the finalists in that one. So obviously the focus will be on Saturday, and after Saturday, straight away, the focus will be on we're playing Tranmere away on Tuesday evening. And we need to pick up some points to safeguard our league position.
Excellent. Well, good luck with that. So a question from @JezGooner Cook in Kent. He was wondering, as a player, would you rather the tie be at Gander Green Lane or the Emirates?
From a point of view of, history, that we'll probably never have the likes of an Arsenal come to our place. Probably in another 25 years, who knows, but that's what we're surmising. It's just a fantastic opportunity for the whole of the community to see, the Arsenal come, just the bus arriving and stuff like that. It's going to be immense. So really, it'll be brilliant. And for them players to come in, obviously have to see what we go through, our changing rooms and our facilities and everything else.
We've seen those pictures.
It will be a culture shock. But from money point of view, if it was at the Emirates, it would have been fantastic. I know there was talk of them trying to get it played at Crystal Palace, but I think that was more Wenger don't want to play on our 3G.
Yeah, well, that's not surprising. But every single piece of news that I've seen is that the only people talking about moving the game are on the Arsenal side of things, and no one at Sutton is thinking in terms of trading away the history of the day for the money and the gates that it would certainly get in. And I respect that. I think the game should be at Gander Green.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
The word on Twitter, I've been paying attention, is that Shanghai Shenhua in China has put a £12 million offer on the table for your services, and offered, and this is the part that most people don't know, they offered to put you on a wage packet of 30 cases of Tsingtao beer a week. And is it true that you turned it down because they offered Ross Warner 31 cases?
Well, we had 30 cases delivered from Bud as well, so, it's pulling on the heartstrings, really.
Yeah, you go to China and you're basically saying your career is over, and you've got at least 5 more years left in England, I'm sure. But speaking of Ross Warner, he's the number one keeper. Is that kind of the position that he holds down? Would you say?
Yeah, definitely. He's a top keeper. He's a great age. He's 26. He is a fantastic keeper. He's one of the best I've worked with, and he's just going on from strength to strength as well. So, but he's got good pedigree. He was at Charlton as a youngster. He's played at AFC Wimbledon. There was a few league clubs in for him. He was more as a number 2 at a few clubs that he'd been to previously. And it's just like, come and enjoy yourself, mate. Put yourself back in the shop window, which is what our club is all about. These players. We've got a lad, Craig Eastman, from Arsenal, so he knows he's played in the Champions League. Rory Deakin, the Magic Man. There's a few players, and we've got a lot of experience in there. We've got Nicky Bailey. We've got our back four's got 800-900 league appearances between them. So we're no mugs.
No, absolutely. And I was gonna.
You wouldn't be at this point if you were mugs.
No, absolutely. I mean, we were going to ask about Craig Eastman. What's his thoughts? Have you talked to him about the draw? Do you have any Arsenal fans in the side that are particularly happy about this, or is it just business as usual?
Well, when obviously through social media, Simon Downer, the centre half right back, he's a massive Gooner, and when the draw was made, his family, they're all around the TV in his family house, and he had a can of Stella, and literally the draw was made. His daughter said, "Number 6, Arsenal's coming out," and within a minute, obviously Arsenal come out, and he just leapt up and he run down the road, no shoes on, just it was ecstatic, unbelievable scenes it was, and that's what it's all about for us. It's it's fantastic, and Craig Eastman, obviously the Rory Deakin, with all the hype and everything else, I think they're just looking forward to it, and they just enjoy the journey up until it.
Yeah. Well,
these are memories that'll never go away.
Yeah, and you probably don't. I'm not sure if you know this, Wayne, but that match against Leeds was actually on TV over here in the U.S., and I had the pleasure of watching it with probably 10 non-football supporters at a party, and they were thinking, man, that stadium is really small for this game. And I said, that's the beauty of this FA Cup. It's any team plays any team, no matter how big or small you are, and so it's just absolutely awesome. And I don't know if you boys knew that it was nationally televised over here in the U.S., but unlike England, they don't. We get every match, so they don't pick and choose. Like every game is played, and so they'll typically pick the so-called smaller teams and put them on TV because it gets you a little bit more exposure, which is great.
Yeah, it's fantastic because obviously over here it's all about viewing figures. Mm-hmm. That's why Man United seem to be on all the time, Man City and your Liverpools. So that's where we were a bit disappointed because we had a local derby against Wimbledon, which is only like 5 miles away. But there's no animosity, there's nothing. The supporters get on, and when that didn't get chosen for the replay and the possibility, because obviously they were cup holders, Wimbledon. We managed to obviously beat them in the replay, but knowing full well that the Leeds match was already chosen for live TV, which would have been, obviously changing phenomenal for the club, for the funds and what's available throughout the prize money and the crowds and everything else. So
and that was
literally a massive thing.
That was a big controversy. I mean, I've heard that TV wanted to go to Sutton, but the FA said we want Manchester United to be on. Is that kind of the story that you heard?
Yeah, again, like I say, they look at viewing figures. You know, no disrespect. If Man United's on, then they might get 6, 7, 8 million viewers. If Sutton United on, they only get 600,000. So, you know, they've obviously got to please the bosses and everything else. So, but it's one of them for the non-league sides. You know, the amount of money. That's why I wouldn't say they disrespect the competition, but to stay in the Premier League is probably worth 150 million. Mm-hmm. To win the FA Cup is 1.5 million. So you can see where people are. But you know, when they say about playing too many games and this and that, you know, to be fair, they're full time. They're probably the nearest you'll get to probably a racehorse. They're that well trained. So you know. I can't see how they can't play 40 games a season.
I cringe when I hear our manager talking about how tired the players are, and you know, it is something that does bug me when the lower league teams, the non-conference teams, you're playing constantly, and no one's complaining. So yeah, that's a very, very good point. One quick more thing on Ross Warner, if he happens to take out a attacker and get a red card in the game right before the FA Cup game, are you going to have a little bit of a smile, a little bit of a twinkle in your eye, or you know, has the possibility run through your mind that you could get onto the pitch for that game?
Well, there is. You always hope and you dream. You always dream about saving a penalty. I've done that yesterday. So that's given me a bit of confidence. But like you say, Ross, barring injury or anything else leading up to it, we would have to obviously get a lone keeper in, and then obviously I would still stay on the bench. But if anything happened during the game, obviously the next port of call is obviously myself, and you'll see the roly-poly on BBC One.
I can't. I mean, I don't want to wish any negative or any bad to Ross, which is why I called it a red card and not an injury. But I got to tell you how ridiculously excited I would get seeing you trot onto the pitch. That's for sure. Oh boy, what a thing. Tom Rosenhammer from Virginia wanted to ask if you drink beer within 40 hours of match day, and I have a feeling I know what the answer to this is, but
well, we on Saturday, we met on Saturday night. I did have 2 pints on Saturday with me dinner, but I certainly did have a few beers before the game because I'm not. But I do, to be honest, I've never been a big drinker on a Friday night. If there's a game Saturday, even throughout when I was playing all the time. So, you know, you still prepare yourself right, just in case, because, you know, it's a pleasure playing with the lads that are at our club, and I wouldn't want to let anyone down, especially them, and obviously myself or the gaffer. So.
Excellent. Yeah, I wasn't sure. When I first read the question, I said 48 hours. I might just ask about 4.8 hours of match day, but because that's a little bit more realistic. So, just a few more questions. Andy, you got one?
Yeah. Do you have pets? Would you sign a contract extension with Sutton if your supporters put a huge banner of you with your pets up at Gander Green? And I'm not sure if you've seen the Sanchez banner, but are you aware of it?
No, I'm not aware of it.
So Alexis Sanchez has a love affair with his dogs. They have their own Instagram account. And some of our fans have been so desperate to get him to sign a new contract, they've put a banner up at the Emirates of him with his 2 pups. So would that sway you to sign?
And there's a big controversy about is it funny, is it harmless, or is it pathetic?
It's pathetic.
I think it's funny and harmless, but I like to take the piss out of it though.
But with someone putting a big sign of you, and I heard a dog bark, and it wasn't mine for a change. So would that entice you to sign a new contract with Sutton?
No, definitely, because I couldn't wait to get rid of a couple of our dogs because they are a pain in the arse. But if they took them away, I would. But to put a banner, seriously, that's all good humour, isn't it? the fans are so fickle that they would do anything to get their best players to try and stay.
Ain't that the truth?
Yeah, because none of our fans most of our fans don't have an extra 250,000 quid a week sitting around. So, so how much does a banner cost? That might be an easier route.
Yeah,
lastly, Jenny the giraffe is apparently the club mascot now. Is that right?
Jenny is, yeah. Tony does dress as Jenny on a Saturday only. So,
would you say Tony dresses up as Jenny?
Tony dresses up as Jenny on a Saturday only, so I think that's his little fetish.
That's his fetish. Well, that kind of takes away my next question, which is she married?
It is married, yeah.
and is it hot? Because I'm asking for a friend of ours named Gunnersaurus. I don't know if you're familiar with Gunnersaurus, but he apparently he likes tall ladies with big necks. So he'll be very disappointed to find out that Jenny the giraffe is a guy named Tony.
And Tony's not the biggest, so he hasn't got hydraulics.
Well, maybe that would work better. You know what I'm saying? So here's what makes me nervous. All kidding aside, in 1988-89, which was my first year living in London, like I told you, little Sutton United at that point in the football conference as well had a third-round FA Cup proper tie against Coventry City. Which was at that time a first division team in the predecessor to the Premier League. In fact, they were second.
They were the holders, were they? Of the FA Cup as well, weren't they?
I think they were the holders, and they were at that time second in the first division. And Sutton beat them 2-1 in that game. And we're not going to talk about what happened in the following round when we will when they went to Norwich and
That's right,
yeah, we don't have to talk about that, but.
They come second.
Yeah, It can happen. It can happen, and I think anyone in this match who is just treating it like an automatic win, like it's going to be a romp. I mean, the beautiful thing about football is that you just never know, and the beautiful thing about the FA Cup is you get to see these matchups that you'd otherwise never get to see. And the best translation, not that anyone needs one, is just imagining I won't use the New England Patriots because they actually win things, but a team like the Giants or the Redskins or somebody going to a high school in Kansas and playing at their stadium and the game actually potentially being close. And it's a beautiful thing to watch. And that's why I know so many of us have gotten, just this fascination with learning more about Sutton, learning more about the characters. And you're obviously one of the characters there. And so we wish you the best of luck in your non-league games, in your tournament games. I'm sure you'll put on a good showing in the game on the 20th. Anything else you'd like to say or share or ask to our listeners in America and elsewhere?
No, it's just, thank you very much, really, for the publicity that we're getting, obviously, with the likes of yourself. And it has gone global, obviously, you see by the followers and you see through Twitter and everything else. And it really is humbling, just because we're just normal people. We're not, we go down the pub, we have a couple of beers, we talk around, but, with things thrown around, it's just raised the profile. And as you were saying, it is a David versus Goliath, and our facility will bring a leveller. The floodlights are not the best. So, listen, who knows? Stranger things have happened, but it is a tall ask. If anything, if someone said live the dream, it'd be a replay. And let's get to the Emirates. Let's get to the Emirates and have a party. But maybe that can be organised.
Well, it's time to start talking to some of those players on the Arsenal and working some things out. But you might not need that much help from the other side. You might be able to pull it off legitimately. So, well, Wayne, I appreciate your time, your generosity, and best of luck to you in all of your future endeavors. And we'll be keeping an eye on you through social media.
Brilliant. Thanks, Mike. Thanks, Andy. Thank you for everything.
Cheers, Wayne.
Cheers.
Good luck.
All the best. Cheers, mate.